Hey, it's me, Karina, and we are now all approaching the year 2020. 2019 was filled with a lot of opportunities, so is 2020. And one of my favorite ones, the one I do, is still around, and that is Amazon FBA, and it keeps continuing to grow and grow and grow because 50% of all online sales were literally just through Amazon, and that is crazy, and it's just going to continue going up. So for those of you who are considering the business model or want to know more about it, I have information, and I'm actually going to be going on this whiteboard through the steps of Amazon FBA, the most important steps, really focusing on those and what's going to expedite your success. And if you want an ebook information about this business model, it's linked down below. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I post daily Amazon videos, so you definitely should click that subscribe button. And of course, I also have a program that teaches this entire business model. And let's get into it. So there are a few steps of Amazon FBA, and some are more important than others. Actually, I'm just gonna leave this right here. Okay, so the first one, what are you going to do, right? Is it as hard as you think? Do you really have to invent your own product or do something crazy? No. What you have to do is just your market research. So that is the number one thing I like to call it, is market research, not just product research, okay? And this is one of the most important components, is the search. Because if you find a great product in a great market, then everything else becomes so much easier. You are looking for a market that is stable in sales, that has lower reviews, and that has a good price, so you will be able to be profitable when you actually sell it, so you can put money in your pocket. So that is the very, very first thing, and that is a market research. Can you see me? Yes, you can. Ooh, that's not the right pen. Hold on, let's change it up. Okay, step one is, I have horrible handwriting, by the way, if you didn't notice. Research. Okay, that's the market research. So how do you do this? There are tools that help you analyze this, so it's not like you're thinking of something crazy or doing it yourself. There are tools that you type in certain things and they give you the breakdown, such as Helium 10, Viral Launch, Jungle Scout, all of those. So this is quite easy. You just have to know what you're looking for, and you have to make sure that the market you're going into is not oversaturated. And once you have found that, you have literally hit a sweet spot. So how you do that is you go into the Amazon marketplace and you basically study niches, you study industries. Say you're going into baby products, so you run the extension on a certain market to see what the sales are, and you use that. And of course, I have a cheat sheet that shows you how to begin with this and what parameters you should be putting, and I'll link that down below as well for you to download. It's quite helpful, and it's a great starting point for product research. So once you've actually found the product, then what do you do from there? Then this part no one really talks about, and that is differentiation and having a higher value add than everything else, okay? So I would even make this step its own situation, because to do this, again, you really have to do your market research. You have to study your competition. You have to read through the reviews, see all the bad that they're doing and see all the good they're doing, and then see how you can add value to your customer. Because the more value you add, the more people are going to buy your product. And not only are they going to just buy your product, but that's going to show up in your reviews later down the road. So you always want to make sure that this is there. You're not just going into something weird and rinky-dinky that's going to sell for a little bit and then stop selling. You're going into something that's actually going to add value to your customer. Where did this go? Don't disappear on me, my lovely Into Millie. Once you actually found a way to add value and to make it better than everyone else, the next step is you actually want to find the product and negotiate with suppliers who will make this come into reality. So now step number 3 is suppliers. So with your suppliers, you're obviously trying to get the best deals possible. And in my program, I teach you exactly how to do just that. I have many templates that I give to my students on how to negotiate with suppliers to get the highest quality product for the lowest price and still build a really good relationship, and also doing this business model low risk, because it is very possible to do this completely low risk. So what you want to do here is go on a site called Alibaba. Of course, I'm sure you've heard of it, and then it has literally hundreds and thousands of factories that have your product. Maybe not your product specifically, but at least 100 of them will. And you find the best suppliers for your product, you tell them what value you want to it, and they make it into a reality. It is as simple as that. Then after that, you obviously want to ship the product directly to the Amazon warehouse. And this is where it gets very interesting, because unlike other business models, you don't actually have to touch your product, you don't have to see your product, you just pretty much ship it off to Amazon and call it a day. And they actually handle all the customer service, they handle all the shipping, all the handling. It's pretty amazing. And with that, Amazon takes a small fee of about 15%, but trust me, it's very worth it, because you don't want to be doing everything yourself. That just doesn't make sense, because then you're just going to be working and packing things all day, right? That you don't want to do that. So when that's getting shipped, and depending on the method you do, if you do air shipping, that could take 2 weeks. If you do like sea shipping, that takes like 30 to 40 days. So whichever one, and whichever is like cost effective, you know, based on your product margins. So after you ship it in, and while it's in the process, you're going to be actually creating your listing. So that is your listing, and that's basically how your product looks like inside of Amazon. And this is not as hard either, okay? There's a lot of ways you can get inexpensive photography done for your items, and just to really portray your item as a really good thing. You can hire graphic artists to do all the design work for you, to do the photos. And I actually wish I knew this when I started out, because I did all the graphics myself in Canva, and they did not look nearly as nice, but it worked nonetheless. And now I have graphic artists that work for me that actually do all like the infographics and to make my listings look very nice. And that's what I suggest for you to do. And on top of the photos, you also have to do the actual title, all the bullets, and really optimize it for Amazon. And again, there are programs to help with that, so it's not as hard as it seems right now. So when you are doing these two kind of at the same exact time, then your product arrives, and then you want to launch it. And what does launch mean? Launch means essentially getting your product in front of the eyes of many people. It's not just going to appear into Amazon and everyone's just going to buy it for no apparent reason. You have to make sure that everyone is seeing your product at the very top, and they see how much value you actually have in the product. And the only way to do that is to show your product to people. So how are you going to do that? I teach people to do this entire model low risk, to do their market research in a very low risk fashion, where they can actually find products that they can launch very easily, very effectively with PPC. PPC, which is pay-per-click ads, which is Amazon's advertising, and that is a very much less expensive way of doing it. And of course, I have strategies of that in my program on how to launch these products, but this is a very effective way to launch, and you're getting real data and real customer responses of why it is a good product. If it's not selling and you're getting a lot of like people seeing your product, then you know something's up with your product. So that's not good. But if we've done all of this correctly, then this should not be an issue. And honestly, this is 6 very simple steps, but the 7th one is the very most important one right here, and I'm going to write it down right now. And without this one, without this step number 7, none of these other ones would work out, because if you don't have the mindset there, this is going to be very difficult. Okay, people get stuck on pretty much all of these steps, literally all of these steps. Things right now to me that seem easy, such as, for example, talking to suppliers and shipping. I have a designated forwarder that does all my shipping for me. It's very automated, right? Like once you find a few products and you keep reordering, these become very, very easy. But when you're doing it for the first time, it can be difficult, okay? And if you don't have your mindset in check, you will give up and you will just say, you know what, this isn't for me. But the truth is, it probably is for you if you just would have pushed a little bit more and actually continued learning and to continue doing it. You would have realized that it's not that bad. And once you know how to do it once, you can again replicate it and do it again and again and again. So that's that. If you want the guide that I talked about, again, you can just click the link down below and get it. It will be sent to your email. And then, of course, I have a program that teaches this. I have one-on-one coaching if you need individual help. Everything is linked down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video.